everybody. Welcome to Trader Merlin Show. Happy Friday, everybody. Cheers. Let's see what we got today. I got the custom Merlin glasses out there, a nice rock, and we're drinking a Texas pot-style bourbon, so thank you very much for the gift. I believe that was from my friend Kevin. I forget. It's been here for a couple months, but just cracking that one. So cheers, everybody. Hope you had a fantastic trading week, and I hope that we have a great show today. All right. Hello, everybody. I see we got a big group. You guys were all really chatty before I even got here, so happy Friday. I hope you all have a great weekend. I am going to be doing some fun stuff. I'm going to go rock climbing, clean the garage, and play with the dog, and enjoy some sunshine, hopefully, out here in Southern California. Probably a little bit more than some of the citizens will be doing over in China, given the circumstances, which is why I thought, why not just start our trading week wrap-up there with China. The reason I want to bring this one up to start with is we had a question from a viewer which was really talking about some of the things that happened in China in the last 24 hours. And, you know, certainly we've already talked at length about the Evergrande situation, which, hey, you know what? I don't know which way that one's going to go. I kind of, part of me, of course, you guys know that I'm this eternal bear on the market. Like, part of me wants this house of cards to come collapsing down. Evergrande going down would be great for the shorting opportunity on just about any asset class, except maybe commodities. So part of me wants China to not bail them out and let Evergrande fall and see what the ramifications are. Gut tells me that's not going to happen, but that's not the talk track on why China was the screenshot today for the background. Of course, I was not in China in that picture, but maybe one day I'll visit them. So why are we talking about China to start with? Well, it goes to this question from Lee. It says, please talk about China crypto ban today. Well, it's kind of funny. Since we're on the subject of crypto and crypto bans, this is nothing new. China has done this over and over and over and over again. There was actually a really great tweet by Charles Hoskinson, the guy who created Cardano, and he says, you know, I feel like the Chinese are like the Hobbit, right? Remember, he says, you know, we'll ban crypto for the day, and then we'll have a midday ban, and then we'll have a mid-afternoon ban, right? It's like they're always eating. The Hobbits are always eating. Well, this is like China's eating relating to the Hobbits. They're going to be constantly doing this ban. So personally, I think that Tom say it or Big Eb? There's nothing to worry about. China was like 4 or 5 days ago. Yeah, the money press. So we have the Evergrande thing, and then we also have the crypto ban. And honestly, they've been doing the crypto ban forever. It's no big deal. In my opinion, I think it's just posturing because they have their digital yuan being rolled out, and they want that to be the currency. So again, it goes back to competition. Now, why is this important? Well, when you look at digital yuan, it's not a decentralized currency. It has no basic structure like Bitcoin or anything like that. It's just simply a digital currency that they 100% control. And to me, this is more of a problem than having other cryptocurrencies. If we have central banks, I know we have some people here from Canada. You're going to have one soon. I know we have a lot of Americans in here. We'll have a digital Fed-backed currency here probably in the next couple years. And the reason I think that this is so crazy is you talk about not having privacy now, which is fiat currencies and banks and insurance agencies tracking all of our data and everything we do. The moment we switch over to a central bank-backed currency or CBDC, central banked digital currency, there's even more transparency for them. They can see every single thing that we do, where we spend it, how much, how frequent. And to me, I don't know. I think part of the liberties we have here in America is some degree of freedom, and I can do what I want with my time and my money. Therefore, I don't like that degree of transparency. So to me, this is nothing shocking from China with regards to cryptocurrencies. That said, let's take a peek at what happened in that cryptocurrency market. You can see my crypto list here. It's negative across the board. I mean, everything was pretty ugly out there. There wasn't much to be boastful about. I guess Cardano had a decent day. Cardano, this is the hourly, and I'll just peep it up here so you can see the hourly. So you can see Cardano today took a big drop and then rallied back up. I'll show you a 5-minute here so we can see the real action that happened in the wee hours in the morning. And there's that big drop when China made the announcement. Conveniently, a whole bunch of Bitcoin was cashed out just before that announcement. That's kind of convenient. Things like Litecoin down 7% today, but they're clawing their way back. And, you think about one of the largest economies in the world banning cryptocurrencies altogether, only having a 4% down move on Bitcoin. Well, let's say roughly 5% on the entire crypto space. That's actually a fairly positive thing. I think that's actually, not bad. If you crack down on that in China and ban it, and you only drop the market 5%, that's telling me that there's a lot more upside potential. So I actually think this is a good thing. It's typical. I agree with Big Eb here. It's a buying opportunity for crypto. Yes, I was looking out. I have a few bucks that I want to deploy into more of the crypto space. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to buy. I think my top holdings are pretty well allocated in things like Polkadot and Ethereum and Bitcoin, and maybe a little more Solana, maybe some Avalanche. We'll have to wait and see. But probably this weekend I'll buy some more crypto. I kind of was hoping I would have bought it on this nice dip here as we fell to 41,000 on Bitcoin. So Lee, that's pretty much it with regards to the China talk. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it's funny. This happens every few months. China comes out and is like, "We're going to ban cryptocurrencies." Like, well, we already did that. Well, we're going to ban it again. We're going to more ban it. It's like there's a scene in the movie Super Troopers. If you have nothing to do this weekend and you want to grab yourself a nice glass of whiskey or a joint or a bowl or something like that, watch Super Troopers if you haven't seen it. Hilarious movie. It's all about police officers and how they mess with people, but it's done with a great comic flair. And there's a scene where the three kids are in their car doing a bunch of drugs and they get pulled over. And so the cop's behind me. He's like, "Pull over." He's like, "Well, I'm already pulled over." He's like, "Pull over." He's like, "I can't pull over any farther." I feel like this is China and their security ban or crypto ban saying, "We've already banned it." Well, we're going to keep saying we banned it to keep the pressure on crypto to the south side. What this does, in my opinion, it actually creates opportunity in marketplaces. As Big Eb said here, it's potentially a buying opportunity. But more importantly, what I think happens is it starts to make people aware of where the safe havens are for cryptocurrencies. And that could lead to people moving and allocation of assets and resources to these countries that are embracing technology and things like that. So, yeah, there we go, Alex. Hurry up, meow. Oh, for those that don't know, the meow part. Hey, Brandon. I got your email. I'll get back to you a little bit later on to that one. Canada, huh? Almost made it. Yeah. Oh, boy. We could do a whole show on one-liners from Super Troopers. Who wants a mustache ride? All right. Well, and Brendan says crypto is already undervalued. And I think that we can't make blanket statements like that because I agree with you on the whole. There's a lot of cryptocurrencies that are undervalued when we look at the future potential, right? And that's what a lot of people are out there doing is they're saying, okay, what is the future value of crypto? There's a lot of them out there, and I think you'll agree with me on this one, Brendan, and others, that are absolute crap and have no reason to be valuated as much as they are. There's some crypto shitcoins out there that have a market capitalization of like $5 billion. For what? You don't do anything. You never will do anything. So we can't make the blanket statement that everything is undervalued. And I think that's part of what I like to do in the digital assets program for Online Trading Academy, particularly CIL, is kind of weed through that and say, here's the safer bets. And again, it is speculation. It is taking a bet on the market. And if we can put or allocate our capital into the right positions, not all of them are going to be winners, right? We know that even with something like Strategic Investor. We are methodically approaching the market saying, how can I grow my 401ks, my IRAs, etc., by building a portfolio and allocating things strategically. Not all of those are going to be positive returns. Some might have negative returns. That's fine. But what we can't do in crypto is say, I have all my portfolio in a bunch of shit coins that are going to go to zero. So to me, that is the crypto space as we stand. I think there's tons of opportunity. The challenge is market timing. Which ones do we think offer the greatest potential? And, I had a great conversation today with a friend of mine over lunch talking about, what happens when, let's say, Ethereum goes from proof of work to proof of stake. What does that transition do to things like layer 2 technologies? But again, we're going off the deep end here into cryptos. Bottom line is, I do think it was a buying opportunity today. You saw some nice drops in pretty much everything. Ethereum had a huge drop all the way down to about 27, 25. So $500 drop in Ethereum. That's pretty good. Then all of a sudden rip back up and you're currently just about to hit that 3,000 mark on Ethereum. Kind of shrugged it all off. All right, what else do I got here? I agree with Brendan. I think buy metals and crypto. There's portions of these markets that I do think offer good value. What about some current network use? Some coins haven't gone up yet to match. Yes, I'm not going to go too in-depth in that one, Brendan. I'll save that for the CIL, but one of the things we'll look at here over the next couple weeks in the Crypto Investor Live is specifically that network utilization and different protocols using these networks, right? Some of them are very underutilized, some offer a ton of potential, and some are completely bogged down. All right, so let me go back to the start here. So overall equity markets, we saw a couple things this week. We saw Lennar and KB Homes report this week earnings, and those are home builders. This is, for me, a fairly important one for the grand scheme of things, the big picture. And those numbers didn't come out that great for Lennar or KB Homes. And I'll show you the charts here. There you have, let's go to KBH. So here's KB Homes. I'll throw it on a daily so we can see what that looks like. There's your daily. You know, really nothing special. It just feels like it's still just chopping sideways between 38 bucks and 44. Granted, a $6 range, but not that exciting from an investment perspective. Nothing here screams, oh, I've got to buy it or I've got to sell it. So that's KB Homes. Lennar came out as well. Similar picture, right? It's really been 2 weeks of just kind of choppy sideways action, and not really a fan of that. So today we had new home sales come out, and I was actually expecting new home sales to not do so well. Why? It just feels like things are starting to slow down a little bit. Of course, I was wrong yet again, because new home sales, I'll show you right now. New home sales came out better than expected. They expected to be right around 700,000. You've got 740. So the way these charts work, and you can get these at forexfactory.com. I've got some great charts on this. But you can see these little gold or whatever color that is bar. That's the expectation. The actual number where the blue bar ends is the real number. So we're expecting 700. Came out significantly better on new home sales. To me, that is a very positive thing for the markets, which is maybe why we did what we did today in our equity markets, which was struggle mightily and then all of a sudden rebound back up. So on that note, what's going on? We got some big chatter going on in the chat room. So let me show you that. We'll start with our kind of top 7 here. I'll work my way from the bottom to the top just so we can get a perspective as to what's moving. Obviously, we talked about crypto already. Ugly day for Bitcoin and crypto, but starting to claw its way back. Down right now about 4.1% for Bitcoin. Now, not all indexes were positive. Russell 2000 showing a decline today of about 0.47%. As you can see, still the song remains the same as you would hear on a Led Zeppelin album, right in the middle of the range. For those who are looking at spread trades, IWM might be a fantastic place to be looking at doing some spread trades here. Gold, your next one. Today, you notice only up 0.05. It started off pretty ugly and weak and then rallied back up to end of the day pretty much unchanged. You know, I don't see anything technically here that just says buy, sell. Pretty much to me, it's just sit on the sidelines for gold right now. The longer term picture that we've been talking about has been trending down. So just based off this picture, my bias would think that we would see things slowly drift lower. Now, back to the indexes and NASDAQ 100, which I was actually anticipating some more sell-off today. It did sell off. It was looking good, and then all of a sudden rallied back up and closed right near the highs. You guys can see that one right there. On the day, it was up 0.1%. At one point, it was down much more than that. It's okay. It happens. But all in all, a decent week for the NASDAQ. You pretty much came back to an unchanged for the week. Actually, it was down. How do I know? Well, if we go from Friday's close of last week to where we are right now, you're down roughly 0.06% on the week. But boy, a hell of a slide. We had at one point, the NASDAQ was down about 3.5% almost, and then rallied back up to be unchanged. That's pretty positive. If you are me, like a practitioner and a believer in the kind of the slingshot theory that when something... Okay, well, I'm hoping that worked. OBS just told me my studio was disconnected, and now that we're reconnected. Anyway, don't know what happened out there. Hopefully we are back to normal here. Did that go? The delay is going to kill me here and asking you guys if you can hear me, so I'm hoping that you can hear me at this point. Anyway, that slingshot method, or slingshot belief was come ripping down and then rip back up, as Margaret says, came off a good demand zone. Yeah, and it's funny because back on earlier this week on Tuesday when we had that big sell-off, I was really thinking about closing out my put position, but I just felt like the follow-through would be a little bit stronger. And remember, my initial thought for my put position on the NASDAQ and on the S&P is next week or the week after. I was really planning on after October 1st, which is, of course, next Friday, would be my decision point because I want to let A, September pan out. I wanted to B, hear about the vote on infrastructure, and C, I want to hear the turmoil that happens on the debt ceiling. My guess is on Friday, they will not raise the debt ceiling. They'll kick that can just a little bit further down the road to create some tension. If that happens, then I think you'll probably see Friday some market weakness. But again, that's a whole week down the road. All right. Good. I'm glad I'm still connected. I don't know why it showed me disconnected, but we got disconnected there. Let's see. Do these people that buy gold and silver are they futures traders and give me $19 per coin? I look at the chart. Seems like a nice buy zone at 1950. Well, you're talking on SLV, so we can go to SLV. Not liking the way this turned out. I'm still nervous about this demand zone down here at $20.42. That's kind of my stop loss. If you're talking about this 1950 mark, that's this area where we had this kind of double gap. Personally, I think if we get below this 2040 mark, I think we're going to go down a lot more, which is why I have that stop loss in place, because you have these double gaps. You've got a single gap there, another gap there. You have 3 gaps in a row on silver. Could this be the time that silver all of a sudden retraces all that? It could be. It certainly has been looking weak for the past 2 months. So, all right. No debt ceiling? That's exciting. Well, there right now, I guess there wasn't a debt ceiling, right? When Trump in 2019 said, we're going to postpone all that stuff. We can't think about that right now. And now all of a sudden we have a debt ceiling back in place, which of course is just political theater, folks. We know what's going to happen. I guarantee you it will be raised at some point. They'd have to, because if we don't raise it, then theoretically we could default on our debt. And if we default on our debt, then all this money pumped in the economy gets evaporated in a complete shit show, and this market will come crashing down if we get downgraded. And they won't let that happen. So it will get raised. Just to what level and when? My guess is they'll probably do a little bit of a government shutdown to make one political party look bad, whether that's the Democrats or Republicans, who cares? It happens all the time where we would have raised the debt ceiling, but that party over there said they're not going to agree to this, that, and the other thing, and that's just typical out there. Alex says, would that SLV chart be a triple top? In theory, yes. You could argue this is a single attack here back in September of last year. You could argue we came back up into it, actually kind of almost breached it back in February, and we hit it again. Really, for me at this point, I don't know, you could call it a triple top. You could almost call this almost a head and shoulders. Right now, I'm just concerned with this downtrend. That's really the main focus here. It's just weakness over the past 3 months and not a lot of up rallies, meaning the strength has kind of dissipated from it. So, cool. I hear they're replacing the debt ceiling with a skylight. Good. You're pretty much there, right? Just look up, and whatever you need to raise it to, that's what will ultimately get our debt up to. So kind of crazy that they have these crazy debt ceilings that just keep on rising and rising and rising. All right, let's see. What else do I got for you? Here's a weird one. This is something that's kind of crypto related, which I thought I would save for my CIL, but since you are not part of my Crypto Investor Live program, I'll talk about that here. Siraj had 2 questions. He says, Miami Coin, which claims to get an annual yield of up to 430% APY. Would love to hear your thoughts or insights on it. Their major states it's similar to Bitcoin having a store of value. No, it's not similar to Bitcoin. It's a cryptocurrency, but I don't know how decentralized this one is. And bottom line is it's a gimmick coin. I'm not going to call it a shit coin because there might actually be some purpose behind it. They're talking about how it's going to go back and help infrastructure. But the way that they've set this up, Miami Coin, they almost make it sound like it's an official coin of Miami, right? Not the way, not what it is. So they'll be doing all kinds of different ones. You have the Miami coin, you have the San Francisco coin, all these ones. And basically, I think it's just a gimmick. How do they claim to be 430% APY? Because what they're going to do is you would be staking this or putting into liquidity pools for APY or for Miami Coin. And then what they'll do is, as a reward, they will pay you a compounding rate of the Miami Coin token. Now, what they'll probably do is they will do what they can to push up the value of the Miami Coin. Therefore, the compounding rate gets to be 430%, but that's assuming that the Miami Coin rises. I don't see it taking off. I don't see really that big of a use case scenario for it. Call me what you it's just my 2 cents. I don't see a cryptocurrency that's not even backed legitimately by the city taking off. It seems to be like a I don't know, a popularity grab. Like, oh, it's Miami, I'm going to buy a Miami coin. You have no ownership of Miami. You're not doing anything in Miami. It just is what it is. It's social tokens can make money. Yes, they can. Certainly, there's a ton of them out there that can. And I guess if you dig deeper into these protocols, for me, it all boils down to what's the use case scenario. So if I have this coin, what good does it do me? Do I get to vote on certain initiatives? Is there money there? What do I get to do with it? You know, those types of things. And maybe it'll be good down the road, but it's not something that I would invest in. If I do, you guys might remember I did a show several months back. Actually, it was last year, I think. I don't even remember when I do these shows anymore. But it was dealing with building a portfolio. And this may be that part of the portfolio that I put in the gamble category, right? I don't believe I'll ever get my money out of Miami Coin, so I'm going to throw in maybe it's 1% or 0.5% of my portfolio just to take a chance on that flyer. Again, when you see rates like 430% APY, you have to ask yourself, who's going to pay me that much money to own something? For example, you look at the bonds for Tesla, right? Tesla bonds are getting 9%. I'm buying those bonds because this is Tesla, for goodness sake, right? This is a major, solid company. I see their cars everywhere here in Southern California. I'm sure you guys do too. So why would I buy a bond of Tesla, which was hugely debt-laden, look crazy, like it might actually default on some of the loans, and get 9%? Right? For them to pay me what situation would Tesla have to be in for me to pay 400%, 430% on those, to receive 430% on those bonds? They'd have to be pretty much default and bankrupt. So to me, this is a publicity thing. In this case, for Miami Coin, I wouldn't touch it. Yes, Brian, and actually 100%. That's exactly my feeling, and it's like good, bad, or ugly. It's just called financial markets. Brian says, this is great talk. Shutdown or not, there's got to be a way to profit from it. Absolutely. There absolutely is. The key is, setting a plan in place, because right now I've got some short positions, but I could be very wrong, right? My hypothesis about the dysfunctional government right now could be totally wrong. And hey, you know what? They agree on an infrastructure bill, they raise a debt limit, and all of a sudden you see Democrats, Republicans, and Libertarians all holding hands singing Kumbaya in the Senate. Probably not going to happen, right? Maybe I'm in a utopian world. Maybe this whiskey is just too damn good for me today. Cheers to that one. Marcus is like the real background. I know. I like this one. Looks more professional. The pictures of my fish posters, people didn't like the fish posters, relating me to a hippie with all my fish posters. All right, what else do I have for you guys today? This is the second one from Siraj. And we talked about Robinhood. Obviously, I am not a real big fan of Robinhood. I think that they may actually be on the verge of some issues. And I think you typed in RH, Siraj, but I'm pretty sure you meant Robinhood, right? So RH is not Robinhood. That's a totally different company. So let's go to Hood, which is Robinhood. And they've already said that they're going to accept cryptocurrencies. You can trade cryptocurrencies. The problem with this is very simple for me. One of the big things that I'm going over in the Crypto Investor Live program is this. I have a significant amount of crypto holdings. And part of it is, yes, I'm going to hold these assets, but also where can I move them where I can get the best yield? So, for example, you could buy Ethereum on Robinhood. Cool. Yay, I pay no commissions. Trust me, you're paying somewhere. So you can buy that on Robinhood. But if you use Robinhood, you cannot move your cryptocurrencies out of Robinhood. You cannot say, send my Ethereum over to this wallet where I can get 5% interest on it. It has to stay at Robinhood. So you can't transfer in, you can't take things out. Not a lot you can do there. So to me, it's so limiting, I wouldn't even consider it. And don't fall for we have no fees on your crypto. There are fees. You're paying for it in wider spreads. I promise you. What I should do is I should waste the time and money to open up a Robinhood account so I can show you, here's Robinhood's quote, and here is, no, Gallo, it's not all about crypto today. It's not. It's just the questions that come in are all about crypto today. Send me some questions, Gallo. What do you want to talk about? But to show you how wide those spreads are. One of the beautiful things we have about trading stocks and futures is those are on centralized exchanges. So I can go to one spot and get the same price. But because this is fragmented, each exchange or each party in the crypto space can do whatever they want with their spreads. Make them very wide if they want. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you're going to pay that spread. I assure you, Robinhood is widening the spreads. Siraj, move away from Robinhood. All right. Stock question came in on Live Nation. Dang you guys for asking about Live Nation. That's LYV. I hate Live Nation. I despise them with all my heart. I think they are the Antichrist. I think if you are a true music fan, these represent the devil. They are absolute mafia organized crime of ticket selling. This is I cannot emphasize how much I hate Live Nation. Despise them with all my heart. If I could take down one company on the entire planet, it would be the ticket agencies that sell tickets, because it all goes to black market scalpers who sell tickets back to the public who wants to go see these shows. So the fans get screwed with a company like Live Nation. Anyway, Paul says short Live Nation. I wish I had more information from you, Paul, on why you think that. Even though I think that this is the devil in a security, and a horrible company that is just dysfunctional and ruins people's musical preferences, this chart is incredibly bullish. I understand why you want to go short, A, because maybe you hate Live Nation as much as I do, but notice that it's forming a triple top, right? Alex is probably going to point that one out. Hey, you got a triple top. If you look at the price chart, though, look what's going along with the bottom here. All right, you can draw this from multiple places. There's one, right? I could go down here and do it from this point. Either way, you guys all see the picture. We have what is called an ascending triangle, which is actually one of my favorite bullish patterns. You really have a couple ways you can trade this one. So there's your ascending triangle. This looks really, really strong. So how would you trade it? Well, Paul, you could short right now. Yes, you're at supply. It's already been there 5-6 times. You can see multiple times it's hit it. For me, I just wouldn't take the chance in shorting this. It looks too strong. Right now I'm hearing reports that music venues are selling out left and right because we've been caged animals for the past year. I'm a music lover. I love going to see live concerts, and now all of a sudden, boom, music venues are packed. Everything's sold out because people are like, please let me go listen to live music. I need my sanity. Even DJs and things like that are just packed houses right now. So I think Live Nation's probably going to continue to have stellar numbers. As much as it pains me to say it, I think Live Nation's probably going to keep on moving up here. So how do you play it, Paul? I think you got one of three things. Number one, if you are extremely aggressive and you have rock solid discipline, you short it right now, which I think is the riskiest option of all. You're shorting a very strong trend, and you're shorting one of the strongest patterns out there, in my opinion. Granted, you're at supply. So, number one, you short. Number two, you wait for a breakout. And as soon as you get above, and I would probably move my breakout to this all-time high, which would be somewhere right around, looks like 94.72. So let's say it closes above 95. Give it a little bit of wiggle room till it spikes up. If that happens, I think you got a good opportunity here to go long on the Live Nation, the upside. Your third option, well, I guess there's four, but third option would be to wait for it to come down to this trend line that we've drawn here, that red line moving up, and use that as a buying opportunity. So I really see two buying opportunities, one shorting opportunity, and the fourth one, which is probably the safest of all of them, is just to stay out of it. Right? If you have a bias like I do, I can never trade Live Nation because the only thing I'd ever want to do with it is short it. I just hate them. I want them to go down, 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 down. So there you go. Hope that helped, Paul. Do I see any other music fans out here who have been screwed by Live Nation? Maybe a couple others. Except ticket fees, markups, and premiums are ridiculously out of sight. It's not even the markups, guys. So as you know, I'm a huge fish fan, right? So I told you, I even said, hey, you guys find me fish tickets for Halloween. Get me tickets. Now, I already got them, so don't worry about it. I had to pay a huge markup. But what happens is these packages, because the demand is so high, Live Nation will all of a sudden take a huge chunk off and sell them to ticket vendors, to third-party resellers. And all of a sudden, I can't pay face value for a ticket. Face value for the Fish concert in Vegas is like $70. Well, I had to pay $300 to get a ticket. Why? Supply and demand. And these a-holes see it up front, and they can go, oh, huge demand for this? I'm pulling all these off, which creates even higher prices. And then all of a sudden, these black market scalpers and ticket agencies, which have connections to Live Nation, come in and say, all right, we'll pay you a little premium for it. We'll take those tickets off your hand, and then we'll sell them back to people and make a lot more money. Drives me nuts out there. But hey, front running of order flow happens in the stock market, happens in the ticket business as well. So Paul, shorting Live Nation I think is the riskiest of the four options we talked about. You can short it right now, even though it's at supply. I wouldn't do it. I would be more looking for a buying opportunity either on a pullback into a demand zone or to the trend line, or a buy on a breakout. Oh yeah, Brian. So Brian, if you were a regular to the show, you would never buy Bitcoin on Coinbase. You'd never do it, ever. You'd buy it on Coinbase Pro, you'd buy it on Kraken, you'd buy it on something where you can see the order book. But buying it on Coinbase, throw a dart. Those guys they're charging you a flat fee commission. They're charging you a big transaction fee, and then they widen the spread by about $1,000 on it. Typical. What would you do with the Live Nation $500 gift card from... Tom, you're great. What would you do with a Live Nation $500 gift card from Sam S? I'd probably send it back. I'd probably throw it in a blender and send it back. Yeah. I would probably throw it in a garbage bag full of trash and say, this is what you are, and I would send it back. Oh, man. Big Eb, that's awesome. You got to see Led Zeppelin in 1977. Holy cow. That's... Man, I'd love to have a drink with you one day and talk about that one. That's awesome. Led Zeppelin. There's a couple artists that are on the list that I wish I would have seen, but I'll never have an opportunity. One would be Led Zeppelin. Another one would be Bob Marley and the Wailers, Jimi Hendrix, and actually I would love to have seen Freddie Mercury and Queen live in concert, especially when they did the Live Aid concert. Man, what an amazing show that was. Even though you saw the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, if you haven't, check it out. It's pretty good. Rami Malek did an amazing job. He did a good job replicating, but the energy in that crowd is just unparalleled. Margaret says, is his trading school doing well? Honestly, I hope not. I'm hoping that his students wake up and realize, what a clown it is. Or he is. Actually, the sad part is there's one individual that works for him who I actually really respect a lot, but I told him he can't come on the show if he works for that guy. I just despise him. All right, let's see. I'm not going to go to the crypto piece. Right, Gallo? I think everyone would love to have seen that one. Did you do LPI yet? My family pulled me away. No, I didn't do LPI. Let's go. Let's see. LPI. Oh, yeah, we did that. We did that yesterday. We did LPI right at the end of the show yesterday, Charles. We talked about that one. It looks phenomenal. And I was just saying that basically for me, when something moves this much, I'm inclined to take my profits, right, and move on. If anything, you should be setting a trailing stop and just move this one to the upside. For whatever reason, Laredo Petroleum's looking phenomenal right now. Gorgeous, right? But that's just for the past, month. Otherwise, it's been a cardiac arrest. I mean, this is like a bad EKG right here. You're alive, you're dead, you're alive. So move your stop loss up here. If you get stopped out, don't worry about it. It's great. Yes, Margaret, the options guy. He's a friend of mine. I was just kind of surprised he went over and worked for that company. But whatever. We all got to do what we got to do. Let's see. What else do you want to talk about? I had one other question. I'm trying to find it here. Oh, where did it go? I think it was the second one in here. It was a question about trade setups. I'm trying to find actually where that one went. I don't remember where actually it went. I believe, let me see if I can find it here. It was from Maria. There it is. So Maria says, can you give an example of a trade setup that you're watching? I'm struggling to find trades. Now, this is a bit challenging, Maria, because there's so many different things to look at and so many different perspectives of it. You may not be the same style of trader that I am. You may not be, I don't know. We're all so different. It's very difficult for me to say, hey, this is something that you should be looking at, because I don't know what your style or setup is. I'll tell you what I like to look for from trading perspectives. Number one is I run scans and filters for a wide variety of different things to hopefully present trading opportunities to me. So for example, I love running a filter for shooting stars or hammer formations. If I find those, it doesn't mean I'm trading it. It just means it's on my radar now because it has this price pattern. So what I can do is if the situation looks good, like let's say it's a shooting star into a supply zone, then all of a sudden I might look at that and develop a trade plan, entry, stop loss, price target. If those numbers make sense, then I will look to maybe set a bracket order or wait for the markets to open or whatever the situation may be and make a trade. I am definitely a believer that the trend is your friend until the bend at the end. So like that trade that was asked about on, I'm just drawing blanks, Live Nation, right, by Paul. The trend is up, man. So the trend is your friend to the bend at the end. Live Nation has not changed. Let's go to LYV again, just so you can see that trend looks unbelievably strong. Why would you want to go against that, right? So really it's about buying pullbacks in this trend. So one that, at least for me, that I find it has some potential. There's a few out there, but one was on my radar that I thought might be kind of nice to share with you as a potential is AMT. So let me bring up AMT here. This made my radar today. American Tower, right? So this is a REIT. Now, the main thing is what's going on with AMT, right? You can see that it's been on a really nice uptrend since March. It's basically your perfect example of an uptrend. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Keeps on going. And all of a sudden, in the last 2 days, we've had this really significant pullback, right? It's a pretty sharp drop down in American Tower. So you notice where we closed at today. Right in an area of demand. I mean, it closed literally right in it. Now, I'm not the type of person that's going to take home this speculative of a trade over the weekend. So Monday, when Monday comes around, I'll probably look at this one and revisit it. And if we get one of two things happen, let me go and get some drawing tools here. Go back to the famous yellow box. If we open up inside that yellow box on Monday, I might actually take a chance at this one. because we came right into that demand zone. We actually went down to the lower end of that demand zone. But there's also one that's a little bit lower that might be an opportunity as well. So I've got a couple areas that I'd be happy buying. I feel that the probability is higher of going long on these simply because what's that trend saying? Everything works until it doesn't. This trend line is strong until it's broken. Margaret says 275 is a line in the sand for you. Yeah, 275, I agree. I totally agree, 100%. That's the bottom. So if, the reason I brought this up is the question from Maria was, could you give us an example of something that you're looking at? Well, I've got lists of them. Every day the lists change, It depends on what's happening in the market. But this is just something I'm keeping an eye on because if it opens here on Monday, I might make a trade and put my stop loss right below that yellow box, right? Very tight stop loss. Why? Because this could be the bend at the end. This could be the sell-off. Or if it gets down to this level, which is a bit lower, between 277 and 275. Got a $2 range right there. Fine. All right. Maybe if I want to risk $250, I will trade, let's see, we got $2 range. Maybe I'm going to trade 120 shares, 125 shares of this one. It's not a lot of shares, but it's allowing me to set a limit on my amount of risk. And that's just one basic trade thing I've been looking at. So Maria, that's part of it. One thing that I've mentioned out in the past, and people have asked me about this a lot, is, what about your scans and filters? What types of things are you looking at? I love looking at hammer formations and shooting stars. Those are like two of my favorite ones. And I do that in TradeStation. There's also another one out there that's called a stock fetcher. I got that one from Brandon Wendell many, many moons ago. But here is in TradeStation, you can see right here, here is two companies on a daily time frame that have a shooting star formation, right? There are no hammers right now, it's just shooting star. So at 103.75, you can see Prudential Financial has a shooting star. Now you're probably thinking, well, that's not negative. It is, because it closed near the lower end of its range. Now granted, it has this long topping tail. I actually like this one because it closed the gap yesterday. It rallied up a little bit. Maybe you just put this on your radar and say, set an alert. If it gets below 103.13, that's a potential short there. I'm not saying I'm going to take the trade right now. I want to wait and see what happens tomorrow. And let's see, International Business Machines, IBM. Here's another shooting star example. Going back to what I just talked about, what's the trend? Well, the trend since June has been lower highs, lower lows. So you've got a rally up, a sharp bounce up from this downtrend. Not necessarily into an area of supply. I don't see any strong supply here, but I can do the same basic thing. All it is about having rules, and I'll put a line right there. And if it drops below 136.77, it has to open above it, but if it drops below that, then maybe I will open a short position. So that's it for me, Marie, as far as how I'm finding trades. But I think finding a trade is one thing. Setting rules around that trade is the other thing, which is probably more important. Is what are those rules? We've had a lot of viewers that watch this show who are regulars, right? And they're all pretty regular on the program, and they know my talk track when someone says, hey, what do you think of stock XYZ? It's like, okay, I can give you my thoughts on it. They say, well, what about this trade? I bought it at $25. Well, okay, great. Who cares? Right? You bought it at $25. Big deal. Where do you think it's going to go? Well, we all have to have an idea. If I bought it here, here's how much I'm willing to lose, period. Number one thing you have to figure out on anything, regardless of where you buy it, is how much you're willing to lose. And then it's, okay, if I'm willing to risk $200, I better be trying to make at least $400. Probably $600 is going to be the minimum goal for me, but some people go lower. Some people are shooting for crazy lofty goals. Well, you got to start low and work your way up. It all comes back to having that trading plan. So, Maria, I'm more about core strategy, which is taught at Online Trading Academy, which is really analyzing price charts, looking for supply and demand zones that are worthy of making a trade at. For those that, we're watching the Solana and the Polkadot trades that we made on Thursday or Tuesday, right into good demand zones and then ripped out of it, right? Perfect. Do they always work? No, absolutely not. And when they don't work, you put a stop loss on it, lick your wounds, move on to the next one. All right, Chris, your first concert was Tom Petty at Shoreline. My first concert, it was weird. It was either Concord Pavilion, Dire Straits, because my aunt was a little bit of a socialite, and she was, I think, doing something with the band and got me tickets. It was either that or Eric Clapton at Shoreline for his 25th anniversary tour. That was a long, long time ago. I can't remember which one was first, but Shoreline, love it. Just saw one there, too. Let's see. What do we got? Gallo says you'll take it at 270, huh? All right. Cool. Perfect. Have you heard of the Tradier brokerage? They have a $10 a month flat rate, options, commission, subscription. Just curious. I have not. Kenny. Haven't heard of them. Anthony, good to see you. Good to see you, Tony. Cheers. I've got a little bit of an iceberg left on my whiskey here today. Okay, so did I bring in anything else? I had some other stuff. Robinhood was one. Live Nation was one. Oh, this is one that's interesting. It's kind of crypto related, but when we trade stocks or we trade options or we trade futures, even Forex, we get reports from the different exchanges. And Mike was kind of frustrated, and I echo your frustration, Mike. So I opened an account with Kraken, was thinking about year-end taxes, so I went to browsing statements, tax forms. They don't offer those forms. And I'll kind of save everybody the long-term reading here. With regards to that, cryptocurrency exchanges are, to me, like a decade behind, it seems like, with reporting. So none of them really give you an adequate report of what your transactions are. That's left up to you. Now, you asked me there, it says, will the IRS believe me if I provide my own profit and loss or audit me? I think at this point, if you own crypto and they know that you own crypto and you don't report anything, your odds of audit go up exponentially. I think that's without a doubt. For me, I'm not going to say I'm doing things 100% the right way that I should be, but I'm paying all my taxes without question. If they audit me, good luck auditing. Go for it. I'm fine. I'm not hiding anything. But, I think as long as you're paying taxes on those transactions, estimating it if you have to, I think you'll be okay. I think they're going after the one that don't file. And Brendan's actually pretty big on this. He uses Token Tax or Coin Tracker. I know you mentioned that a couple times. I do too many. I do way too many transactions to track them all. I mean, gosh, just even for class, if anybody in the Crypto Investor Live, I mean, in the last 2 months, just for class, I've probably done like 30 or 40 transactions of setting things, moving them, transferring, storing to different wallets, etc., converting for different tokens. I mean, we were using layer 2 technologies in Arbitrum yesterday, making trades and buying some tokens using layer 2 technology. It gets complicated. So, yeah, it could be a lot. Oh, Elton John. Woo! Elton John, Charlie Daniels Band. Who just played? Not Waylon Jennings. Merle Haggard? I don't know. One of the big country guys just played right on the street from my house. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I agree, Brendan. I have tens of thousands of transactions. I can't keep track of all those dang things. All right, that was the remainder of all the questions that came in before the show today. I got the China ban from Lee, trade example from Maria. Siraj had a couple of questions in there, and then Paul with his Live Nation and Mike. So I've gone through all my basic questions from viewers. What do you guys have for me? Back when reporting crypto gains wasn't on tax forms. It was just like, actually, years ago, people didn't even report. Now the IRS is putting a little bit of extra heat and pressure on them for it. Before we wrap up, Monday and Tuesday, you can thank Larry Jacobson for this. He scheduled me to do an event. Larry and Todd are traveling around the country right now doing some events talking about multi-assets and options and futures and things like that, which is awesome. But I am scheduled to do a presentation from 1 to 2 p.m. on Monday and Tuesday. I will not be canceling the show. I will still do the show, but I might get started a few minutes late because I literally have to wrap up my presentation at 2, and then I got to get back to what we're talking about. So it could be an interesting day Monday and Tuesday. I apologize, but I'm probably going to be, I might even set the time to be like 5 minutes late or 10, probably more like 10 minutes late start on Monday and Tuesday, just so you know. I will be doing the show on, that's it. So Monday and Tuesday are going to be late, and then I leave. I'm flying to Atlanta to do a big event in Atlanta with Larry and Todd, which is awesome. I will be in Atlanta Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so apologize, but I can't do shows Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. If I did, I'd be like on my phone or my laptop with one camera, and I can't switch things. So if I can find a room, maybe I will do one on Friday because that's my favorite show, but we'll see. All right, Richard, let's start with Zoom. Gallows wants to know about Zoom, so let's bring up Zoom over here. Oh, Zoom. Now, do you want ZM, which is Zoom, or do you want the actual ticker symbol Zoom? So, Zoomability or Zoom, the technology company? You got to let me know, because if you want Zoom, I'm pretty sure it's ZM because you talked about the price there, but just making sure. So, here's ZM, getting down to 250. So, if you listen to Sam Evans and myself, we have both been like, Zoom sucks. They were there, they filled the need, they did what they had to do, but there's too much competition. I'm not a huge fan of Zoom. If anything, I would be looking at shorting it. But, you notice way over here, I'll zoom in on that part, no pun intended. I'm going to zoom in on Zoom. Right back in here, right around that 235 mark, That's the only place that I would be interested in buying it. Honestly, I'm not interested in buying Zoom. I still think they're going to continue to drift down, but that's my bias. I just think there's too much competition long term. As a shorter term trader, yeah, sure, why not? I think that 250, if you look at that 250 price chart, if there was a reason for buying there, you're kind of coming into a demand zone. I go a bit lower. Like for me, it would be like the 236, 237 mark would be the top of my demand zone, but I'm not confident in it. I don't think Zoom's, I think that they're done. I think they're going to slowly just drift down. Granted, they still have a big commanding lead, but I just don't think they're going to compete with Google and Apple and Microsoft products, which will be, I think coming to market, bundled in packages and wipe these guys out. So not a big fan of it. I do too, Margaret. Sam's a good guy. Really like Sam. I'm gonna try. He was supposed to be on a couple weeks ago, but he's been so busy. I'll reach out to him this weekend, see if I can get him on next week or so. Zoom looks like a great leap put. Yes, agree. Right? I mean, look at that price chart. It's got a long way to go down. And it's funny, I'm hoping that people who bought this IPO at like $50 or $60 sold out somewhere along the way. Because Zoom will not be back up at 600. Just don't see it happening. Korn, Brennan. Do you call that a band? No, Korn. Madonna. I like Madonna. I never saw her in concert, but was that in the heydays when she was hot and had the little conical top for Nana? She was always just a sexual icon. Yes. Oh, perfect, John. That's a good point. That's a great point. John says, I agree, unless they become an acquisition target. And that's a tricky question. I mean, if I was on the executive board of somebody like a Microsoft has a history of making really bad transactions. Google, a little bit better. Facebook, better at making transactions that are solid and will continue to bolster their lead position. I guess the question is, how much are you willing to pay for Zoom? Zoom has the clientele right now, but boy, you have the better technology, I think, in departments inside of Apple and inside of Facebook and Microsoft that could take them out real quick. So, you're basically just buying them so that you could buy their customer base. I think you could just do your own thing and bleed their customer base out with better products and services. Oh, okay, great. See you, webcams. Good. Glad you could come in here so I could block you. Let's see. Let's remove that user. Hide this user on the channel. Can I remove altogether? Put user in timeout. Hide user on this channel. Bye. Ay. But it's funny. I mentioned the word. Madonna and boobs, and all of a sudden I got like an X-rated spammer. That's a first. Anyway, good. Get rid of that guy. When we'll have Ryan Watkins on again. And Eric, I love it. You spell your name the right way. My dad's name is spelled with a CK as well. I don't know when to have Ryan Watkins on. I got to see where he's at. He was with Sam. I'm not sure. Sam Evans. So, I'm happy to bring him on. I just have been so busy, guys. I haven't had a chance to reach out to talk to a lot of my old colleagues, etc. So I apologize for that, but I got so many things going on. Honestly, it's just tough enough for me to continue to do the show every single day, but I'm doing my best to keep things going. I had 3 meetings scheduled for this week and next week. They were right from 2 to 3. I'm like, nope, can't do it, guys. I gotta do my show. No, Sam didn't get fired. Sam had let's just say a partner that was one of those people you wish would just drown in a bathtub. You have people who just aren't good people and took advantage of some situations. But anyway. Oh, man, Arena. Yes, Brendan. I know. I just don't reach out to anybody. All right, let me go show you what's going to be happening for Monday. Here is your economic calendar for the 27th. Today was a pretty boring day except for the new home sales. We do have some interesting things happening on Monday, though. At 5:30 a.m. Pacific time, so an hour before the markets open, you have durable goods orders, which, of course, is consumption. And I'm interested in this one because we've had so many talks about supply chain disruption that they're expecting it to be a very positive number, like a big jump up from the previous numbers from negative 0.1% to positive 0.7%. I still haven't heard much about these supply chain disruptions being fixed. I go to Dog Beach in Southern California almost every weekend, and you look out on the coast, and there's a line of giant super tankers trying to pull into the port, which apparently just can't get in there right now. So I don't know. I think this Christmas season is going to be kind of ugly. You're looking at a 10x increase in the cost of shipping goods from China. And if we see Evergrande fall out, then that might be even longer. So we'll see what happens. But that's a number coming out on Monday, which I think is noteworthy. And there really isn't anything on the earnings front for Monday. Aurora Cannabis was supposed to report. It's kind of funny. ACB, Aurora Cannabis, was... I'm going to do Monday Morning Must-Knows, and I can't say this in Monday Morning Must-Knows, but because this show has nothing to do with Online Trading Academy, I can. ACB was supposed to report earnings this Monday, right? This past Monday. And I was going to say, boy, they must have been so high they couldn't get their earnings out on time because it's now slated to be for next Monday. But that's really the only company reporting earnings that matters on Monday. That said, that's pretty much it for me, guys. I hope that you enjoyed today's show, had a little bit of fun, talked about some stocks, some scans, some filters, some macro pictures. Again, Monday, the 27th, we also have the vote on the infrastructure bill. Don't know which way that's going to go. My guess is they'll probably try to pass it, but who knows? I think it's a lot of political posturing right now and kind of crazy things. What time is Monday morning must-knows? Usually that comes out, they'll do it Sunday night or maybe early Monday morning. Depends on when they get that one processed. So we'll record that here probably tomorrow. Microsoft created Office, big money maker by acquiring apps and building on them, killing competition. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, what else do I have? Do I have any other last-minute questions that came through here? I don't see any question marks for me specifically. Nope. All right. Well, that's going to do it then, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you have any comments, questions, feedback, a lot of you sent in questions. So for those of you who did send in questions today, I appreciate it. We had questions from Mike. We had Paul, Siraj, Maria, and Lee. Thank you guys for your questions. And, of course, you guys, the regulars. Thank you guys so much. Cheers. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Send me your comments and feedback, and I will see you Monday and Tuesday. Again, it'll probably be 10-minute late start for the show on Monday and Tuesday, and those will be the only ones for next week because I'll be in Atlanta. And if you are in Atlanta, I'll see you out there at the Atlanta Center. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you on Monday.